So I expected Jennifer's body to be all about Megan Fox, that terrifying femme fatale you see on every movie poster and every trailer. But it was actually Amanda Seyfried's character, Needy, that sent actual chills up my spine. Watching her progress to the point where she just snaps like that was so visceral and jarring that I just felt like we had to watch it again. Because why is nobody talking about Needy? What did she mean when you get bit by a demon, you take a piece with you? That part felt like it had layers. And was she actually in love with Jennifer? And why didn't anybody believe her? So let's watch it again and peel back the layers. Okay, so I got some noodles and let's investigate this movie a little bit because
I recommend you shut the fuck up.
Yeah, that's where she lost me. When she kicked the orderly and then spit on her, that's where I wrote her off as a character. And I was like, okay, this is just one girl's descent into her psychotic episode. Especially how she begins the movie. She's got this kind of strong, unwavering confidence about this kind of crazy image that she has.
Every day I get letters. I'm kind of the shit.
But maybe that's why they show us her first. They show us her already in her psychotic episode to make us write her off.
Sandbox love never dies.
We're totally lesbian gay.
My best friend.
It's easy to write her off too because they kind of introduced the idea early on that, oh, she's just in love with her best friend. Well, you start to profile her immediately.
We'll pick you up at 8:30. Wear something cute, okay?
Okay.
Oh, flirting starts early. It starts really early. This is why it's easy to write off Needy, because there's this narrative that she's like timid, a pushover. Literally, especially that scene where Jennifer like pushes her hard into the door.
It's so gross. Fuck you.
Jennifer wants to dress cute, but not cuter than her, and she can't do boobs because that's her thing.
We just wanted to meet you or something. I'm Jennifer Check.
Stop. Megan Fox is so cute as this character. Like every time she gets excited, she does this little bounce. Like she just bounces.
Hi, we just wanted to meet you. You can totally tell they're from the city.
Yeah, because they're wearing eyeliner.
In the scene where the guys from the band Low Shoulder are talking about whether Jen is a virgin or not, that's where my perspective about Needy kind of changed a little bit, because she's not just overall timid and like a pushover. She's like overhearing them talk about her friend, and then she stands up.
That's my best friend that you're talking about.
That girl you're talking about is my best friend.
I think the lead singer wants me.
It's so interesting, right? Because she's got this dynamic, like she's a man eater, but she's also male centered at the same time. Aww. Okay, so when I watched the scene the first time, I didn't know like Jennifer grabbed her hand. I can see why people were kind of like Needy's character was just in love with Jennifer. And I feel like that's also a way to make her a little bit less of a complex character. Damn, man, that fire started quick. Like, consumed the whole building in a matter of seconds. Okay, I also thought this scene was important because they both experienced the trauma here. A key trauma where people in the bar were burned alive, and then, like, this band, especially the leader of the band, seems very pleased that it happens.
I watched her get into that van and I knew something awful was going to happen.
Oh, he is fucking terrifying, isn't he? He's scary. I'm convinced the only reason Jennifer didn't bite her when she comes back to Needy's house full-blown succubus is because of the BFF necklace. Otherwise, she would have been toast. The title of BFF, the necklace, is the only thing keeping Needy from being dinner. I don't know.
What's wrong with you? Besides the obvious surface flaws, you should find a Chinese chick to buff your situation.
Needy knows what she knows. She said she was up all night scrubbing whatever came out of Jennifer off the floor all night. She's got that concrete knowledge, like I know what happened, right? And then she shows up to school the next day and Jennifer is gaslighting her again, minimizing the trauma she experienced to her face. And I think that's important. It's a really, really small scene, but it was weird how she, like, her mom mentions this dream that she has, how She has this dream that Needy got nailed to a tree like Christ on the cross, like people trying to persecute her. To me, that's foreshadowing, like, obviously the events in the movie, but also I think there's a very deep tie here. We see it a lot more later on, but there's a big flag waving here to me that's giving like how women get persecuted for this specific evolution that Needy is about to have. I think there's just like a bigger conversation that's being had here without actually having it.
It'll just be a minute.
Ew. I'm crossing you out.
There's also a lot of symbolism here about crossing out. The X symbolism, they got X's on their hands, like when they got into the club, and we saw that. And then Jennifer keeps saying, like, boo, crossing you out. What is that about? And then being nailed to the cross, her mom having that dream about being nailed to the cross. Cross. There's a lot of cross like talk and symbolism going on right now.
Cute to me lately.
Needy's face when Jennifer was like, you know, Chip is looking really cute to me lately. Daggers. She's got daggers in her eyes. This scene gets clipped so much where Jennifer is walking through the school hallway and everything else is drab and she's bright in her pink outfit, walking, feeling vibrant, fabulous. As we come to find out, Low Shoulder sacrificed Jennifer for their own fame. They specifically take her pain and turn it into their gain because, you know, she wasn't a virgin. She's not just sacrificed, right? She becomes this succubus, this demon, someone who feeds off other people's energy. But that's the issue with Jennifer. She doesn't feed like energetically off something. She loses her power. Her power source is extremely external. Like she has to go out and find it in order to feel like her most magnetic self.
My dick is bigger than his.
Well, I think he's really cool.
You do?
And this scene was so weird because at first when she turns down Colin, Needy's friend, she thinks he's just like disgusting. But then she sees that Needy thinks he's cool, and then all of a sudden she's interested.
You made it.
The men in this movie are persistent. I'll give them that. Not one of them is ever like, nope, I'm not going in there. So Needy's like going through it. She's like somehow connected to Jennifer in this weird way where she's starting to like sense when Jennifer is like siphoning.
I'm not gonna bite you.
I've seen a lot of people watch this and they're like, okay, obviously Needy was in love with her best friend. But I feel like if I'm looking at it through this lens, right? This lens where this is Needy becoming her most powerful, dark feminine self. This almost feels like Needy being seduced by the idea of what Jennifer embodies, especially with the way she reacts.
What the fuck is happening? Oh my god, Needy.
Jennifer is portraying this dark feminine energy in its rawest shadow form. She is almost like the destructive side of dark femininity that says, if the world is just going to use me and drain me like they did, then I'm just going to use it right back. And in this movie, using Megan Fox, it seems so glamorous, right? Now she steals and takes from men, allegedly, just men.
I have the cops in my back pocket, Needy. I'm fucking a cadet, remember?
Needy wanting to speak up about what she's going through again, or report it to the police, or do something, ask somebody for help, and still again being discouraged not to. It's such a weird scene with her and Needy in the bed, and she's telling her like what happened after guys in the band took her to the woods. She's like, I couldn't bring myself to hurt you. Like, I'm a really good friend. When I don't think a lot of people would genuinely consider her to be a really good friend. But because of this title, she's like, well, obviously I didn't hurt you because I'm a good friend. But also she's driving you insane at the same time.
How are you covered in blood? You know, Needy, maybe you should talk to somebody about these.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so it almost makes you angry just watching. Like, yeah, I can do all these freaky things. And like basically when I'm full, I'm unkillable. And Edie's like, okay, well, something is seriously wrong. And she turns around and she's like, oh, you need help.
Jennifer's evil. Not high school evil. She's eating boys. They like.
Needy, I think you need help.
And she finds out that like Jennifer is now like a succubus, right? A full-blown succubus. And she stops talking to her. She starves this demon of her attention. Okay, my question is, if Needy stops talking to Jennifer and Jennifer only eats boys to get full, why in between the time that they stop talking does she like her life force drain? Why didn't she just find another boy to eat in the meantime? Is it because not only is she feeding on boys, but she's also feeding off Needy's energy? She had to go specifically after that one guy, Colin, that Needy thought was really cool. She could have stayed full. She could have done her own thing. But instead, she goes after Chip.
Needy and Colin were intimate.
Say I'm better than Needy.
What? Why?
She could have killed Chip right then and there, but also feels the need to slander Needy's image.
She can fly.
She's just hovering. It's not that impressive.
You were such a player hater.
It's not that impressive. The writing in this movie gets me every time. Like, oh, what year did this come out? You're such a player hater. 2009. Okay, well, it's making sense.
Why do you need him? Huh? You could have anybody that you want, Jennifer.
That's my exact question. Why does she need him?
He's really insecure. God, that's a joke. How could I ever be insecure? I was the snowflake queen.
And like, she is a void, but why does she specifically need him? I don't know. I cannot put exact words to it, but it has something exactly to do with Needy. Like, there's some way she's like siphoning Needy's energy.
You got a tampon? What I'd ask. You seem like you might be plugging.
That tampon line is so weird to me. Oh, but also maybe like a dig at how people just write off women's like emotions, like their rage, the emotions that people don't want to see from women.
I should have believed you.
Yeah, you should have believed her, and yeah, you shouldn't have went with Jennifer. What is your problem? Like, why? In what world was that okay? This is her breaking point. This is her initiation. This is what I wanted to talk about. This is where Needy's evolution comes to a tipping point. She's experienced trauma, gaslighting, and betrayal from her best friend, but not just her best friend, her boyfriend too, the one that's supposed to be the safe boy, because he believes like Jennifer's little smear campaign. Jennifer is still drained. She still like doesn't have any energy, even though she could have fed on Chip, and she did a while. She's still drained. And part of me feels like maybe it's because Needy didn't let her get to her. Yeah, so she snaps. And I think that's why it's so chilling. Because Needy's like, I'm going to end this, right? And it's like, in order to get rid of the demon, you have to stab them in the heart. And I think she did that like metaphorically and physically for a reason. Like, it was like the snatching the BFF chain away, taking her title away, and then also physically like stabbing her in the heart, which is, woo, hard for me to watch. I don't like a lot of horror movies, but I can watch some of them. But yeah, I just think that duality is important, because why did it have to be both? Maybe because Jennifer was also siphoning her emotionally, and there had to be like a symbolic like severing of that in the movie too. I guess I missed that part where she actually bit Needy. Like, the first time I saw it was when she was in the insane asylum after the fact, but she actually like takes a bite out of Needy. This last scene of the movie, where it starts to wrap up, is finally where the reframe starts to happen for me.
Sometimes change can be good. But if you're bitten by a demon and you live, you just might absorb some of the demon's abilities.
This is the scene that absolutely gave me chills, because watching Needy's evolution felt so recognizable in the most uncomfortable way possible. She experienced this very real, very devastating trauma. After that trauma occurred, was gaslit into, it's not a big deal, it was minimized, like, you're not over that yet, move on. Gaslit by Jennifer, by Chip, by a lot of different people. Made to feel crazy, started to believe maybe she was crazy herself, and then convinced that she needed help. Not only that, she experienced a lot of betrayal by Jennifer, by Chip, by the men in the rock band that started all this in the first place. And then I think the final nail in the coffin was her experiencing like a destruction of her very public image. She killed the demon that was within Jennifer, and then, you know, because nobody else saw it, she's labeled as the bad guy instead of the hero. I think that arc is something that needs to be talked about a little bit more because it's so easy, you know, outside of the like obvious metaphorical stuff, but so easy to relate to so many people's awakening, especially of that feminine rage. She hits this point where she is like all rage. That's the climax, right? She's absolutely come undone. And then this final scene comes, and we see her in a place of acceptance that she did not leave all of that unscathed. But this acceptance of it is so much more important than people are giving her credit for. She's been bit, experienced the bite of betrayal, like have this same trauma, have both like had their energy siphoned in a way. Needy, after getting like excluded and demonized from society, takes this pain and turns it into her own power, into like a deep-seated, unwavering power. I think that means she has like the power and the strength and stuff that comes from experiencing the pain. But in this sense, at the end of the movie, she's using it in a different way. Jennifer is very much like a metaphor to me for that uncontained, vengeful, and seeking side of the power that comes from experiencing that kind of pain. Needy is almost the more initiated and self possessed kind of power that comes from experiencing the same pain. It's integrated. So when people say this movie was ahead of its time, I 100% agree. It was definitely out at a time where people, I would say, feared more of the dark feminine and its traits and its power. It wasn't widely accepted, and it was definitely misunderstood. So women in there, what people would call their dark feminine, get misunderstood, demonized, shamed, and all that power comes from this root that we're seeing here. That power, dark feminine power, comes from some of the most painful experiences you've ever had in your lifetime. And it's so crazy because I feel like I talked about this recently on Patreon, but I was talking about the call to adventure. And I also mentioned it in my hero's journey video, but the call to adventure, where you start out your journey, isn't always glamorous. Sometimes it's initiated through fire, through some of the most painful experiences you've ever been in your life. That's what starts you on this journey of becoming the hero. The story might look a little different in the beginning, but it's also what moves you forward nonetheless. And look